Good. I'm gonna call our meeting to order. We have a quorum present. Like to stand for the invocation. Mr. Dirk, would you do that for us?
Yes, sir. Once again, Lord, we thank you for the day and the ways that you bless us. Lord, I want to ask for wisdom for the council to go through this budget to make the best decisions that we can make for our employees and the citizens of West Florida. And I do want to pray for all of our employees, Lord, as they perform their duties. Help us give them all the tools that they need. And think about the police department, Lord, as they're out and about 24/7, be with them in a special way. And of course, all of our volunteer firefighters, be with them on whatever call that they make. Go with us, help us to have a really good day, and be careful to give you the praise and glory for what you do for us. That's my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Be seated. So we're here today to discuss our budget, annual budget for year 2022 to 2023. And each one of you should have a copy of the budget in front of you. And what I'd like to do is start out with the budget summary, go through that first. As we go through this, feel free to ask questions. I don't want you to be shy. I know that y'all have trouble asking questions. I have trouble answering them, but y'all don't have any trouble asking. All right, so you can see on our 2022 budget, 2022-23 budget summary, all the values that we have for operations and capital outlay, general administration, our building inspector, fire department, sanitation, humane, police, municipal court, street, parks and facilities, and maintenance shop. Does anybody have any questions on that? About this page? We'll get into it deeper as we go line through line. Well, maybe not line through line, but through different sections. Well, no questions. Good. All right, so for revenue, page 2. Property taxes, delinquent property tax, penalty and interest. You can see that from last year to this year, it's gone up a little bit, 29,000. And mixed beverage tax, you can see the values on that. Sales tax values on that, gone up a little bit. All the other taxes. All right. Everybody else turn their phones off too. Humane department on. All right, so other taxes, industrial payment, lieu of taxes, hotel, motel, occupancy tax, road maintenance tax. Any questions on any of that? I'll move on to licenses, permits. You can look through those values. This again is revenue. We're forecasting a little bit of a rise in that revenue, $7,000. Intergovernmental receivables, that's going to go up a little bit. Sanitation, culverts, grades, sanitation fees, renewal and replacement for sanitation penalty fees. We'll have an increase in that. We show an increase in our garbage fees to $23.25 for residential and $43.25 for commercial. Then you see the franchise fees. Those are going to go up a little bit, $7,500 from last year.
Does the city set those fees, the franchise fees?
They're set by the state, except for the sanitation.
Okay.
That's set by ordinance.
Okay.
the garbage.
So why did it go down this year?
What?
Why did the sanitation fee go down this year?
Collections probably, just they're based on collections.
Percentage of collections.
And, let's see.
Percentage of gross.
We've collected 296 so far as of mid-July.
Any other questions? Move on to municipal court and see what we got going there. Increase of about $8,000. Then our other income. I'm rushing you through these, just make.
Are we ever gonna consider opening the community center again for rental?
We're thinking about it.
What was the question? I didn't hear.
Are we ever gonna open the community center
Oh, back.
again for rentals? Yeah. It's under consideration. There's a lot of things to take into account for that, how much damage can be done. That kind of thing. All right. Any questions on other income?
I did have one, I'm looking at my notes, I'm sorry. So municipal court fees, do those go back to the revenue, I'm sorry, do those go back to the general fund or do those go back to the budget for municipal court? I'm just curious.
The ones that are shown here, that's basically our portion. There are some that are dedicated to certain funds,
Okay.
port security,
Right.
technology, and you'll see, building security, municipal jury fund, those are dedicated funds. We
Okay.
can only use them for certain things.
Okay.
And they-
Basically court funds we get.
yeah,
Okay.
Like
because
just-
there are accounts for those.
And these don't include any of the state fees, these are just
No,
the
that's
city, just to
after.
keep right. the-
Right, that's after.
And we do get a permit, a percentage of some of it, but the main ones are court.
And then on the credit and debit card processing fees, I know that we get those for when we accept them, but do we have to pay fees also to the credit
Yes.
card companies?
And there's, you'll see that in the expense.
Okay.
When it gets to.
Does it sort of even out or? do
No.
we-
All right, anything else? We'll move on to general administration. Your personnel services, and each department will have the same kind of a format to go through. It may not be as big as general administration's is, but pretty much the same kind of format. So personnel services. See what our salaries are. We're including a 3% wage increase in all of these.
Was there an additional hire for personnel in general administration this year? Also,
We have one person that we filled the position and so now we have refilled it, but through a temporary service for 90 days, and then we're gonna look at that and hopefully move that into a permanent position.
and how many employees totally are on this one?
There's portions. Once the bookkeeper is 100% city, I'm a portion city, general admin, John's a portion of general admin. The floater position that we call, no, she's sanitation.
Okay.
There's about 4 or 5 different people that are split.
With the,
There you
I'm
go.
just curious, I'm just curious. what-
Okay, bookkeeper is 100% general admin, John is 50%, I am 60%, and then, there's the emergency management is 50%.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm wondering why we are leasing a copy.
Well, we
instead of
can't hear
buying
you.
a copy. Huh?
Wondering why they're leasing, why we lease copies.
Instead of.
The copying machines leased on state contract are cheaper than mine.
Okay.
We can get the copier leased cheaper than we can buy the maintenance agreement for the copier.
We do the same thing with the church. We lease them.
Most places too. Anything else? Supplies and repairs, contractual services.
So the health insurance,
Credit card, debit card, that you were asking about earlier. It's very expensive.
so the health insurance and the medical expenses.
Medical expenses is for like pre-employment physicals,
Okay,
or if we send someone to the doctor here, drug testing, maybe Band-Aids for departments, things like that.
okay.
The health insurance is.
I just didn't know.
Anything else on contractual services? All right, we'll move on to community development. Is there anything in there you'd like to discuss?
What's hotel motel promo expenses?
Hotel, motel promo expenses, what is that?
Those are, the expenses, what we spend the hotel motel tax on, what we're limited by law, and
Right.
you and I have discussed that before.
Right.
What we spent on that in the past is the, promotion for the Masters tournament. That's what we'll pay for your, historical marker with, for holiday in the park.
Yeah, that's like the hot.
What historical marker?
It'll be the historical marker for the church.
What church, First Baptist? We're gonna pay for it? No.
The Huntington
Okay,
Alamo
okay.
Hotel, it's a historical, you can use it for historical, advertising for anything that may or, what they call put heads in beds or bring tourists.
Like we did for Dennis's son's parking space sign thing?
That was donated.
Okay.
It's more like a Mass Masters, if we were to have a festival that people came from out of town into town for.
I use a little bit of it to advertise holiday in the park
Hmm.
outside of the area. You can't use it for inside, like local, but if it's, I think it's 50 miles or more out,
Oh, cool.
you can use the funds for that.
All right, elected officials. Any questions about that? All right, in capital outlay, you have a grant match, some funds in there that may or may not be spent, I guess. Depends on whether we have a grant come in and if there is any matching funds to go along with that grant, we use that money for that. All right, we're going on to the building inspector. Any questions on personnel services? See 3% wage increase on that. Go all the way down to contractual services. The abatement, we reduced that to $25,000. That's the monies that we're supposed to use for any buildings that get torn down, anything that the city does to demolish or remove the building. We haven't spent any of this year yet. I'm hoping we'll get spent some of it. For
There's that, like, the ones we tear down, we got asbestos, we got to pay for.
whatever the cost is, the city absorbs it. So that's, part of the demolishing. if a lot of them have asbestos in it, we may not tear down as many as we would like to. All right, we'll go to the fire.
Wait, go back. Go back. Under contractual services, mowing, code enforcement, you have $0 again this year for mowing.
Mowing and code enforcement. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
All underneath.
So the plan was that, you know, we're gonna see how the abatement is working out. So right now, we're thinking we're gonna be around $5,000 per property on average. So depending on our list, we've got a list that we're looking at. We think we're gonna capture 20 houses, you know, next year, then we'll use all of that abatement money for that. But if we're only gonna do 10, then I'm gonna have some of that abatement money left over that we could use for the mowing contract. I ended up not asking for it, because of what we were doing on the abatement side.
Just asking.
That's good. Good question. All right, we're in the fire department now. You see personnel services and, of course, there's not many salaries in that. And, just move on to supplies and repairs. Anybody got any questions there?
I do. All the other departments that had at least a 30% increase in the fuel budget for the year, and the fire department stayed the same.
Yeah, if we look back on the history, and they didn't use the $4,000 last year.
Okay.
So, and again, it would depend on what the price of fuel is and how many fires that they have to run checks, you know, so, you know, it's not like the police department's got a pretty good idea how many miles they're gonna go. I mean, unless they're just running around all the time. They've increased their budget for what they feel like they can spend.
Okay, so we're needing more radios? Is that what this?
Yes.
You dropping down to the capital outlay now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we through with supplies and repairs?
I am. Does anybody else got any other questions on that? How about contractual services? All right, how about capital outlay?
Okay. So radios, we need more.
Right, we get more
To
personnel.
replace or just, okay.
No, they're for the newer members that we get.
I think we are gonna look at replacing one or two of the trucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the AED, is that something y'all requested but just didn't get, and what, you know? Do you not have qualified staff for that, or the training for
Yes,
that?
yeah, we actually going through and getting our FRO stuff now, working on finishing all that. We're just waiting on some paperwork to come back to where we can actually do a full first responder orientation for help with the medical and training.
It's been sent to the state, we're waiting on the state to send the approval.
Right.
I mean, because I'm kind of like for the AED for you guys,
Yeah.
but you have to be qualified,
Right.
trained up for.
We're doing the bias action.
How much is a defibrillator?
Not that.
I don't recall, but there's. I want to say it's like $2,000-3,000 for one. So,
Yeah, that's about what they.
All right, you'll notice that we have, in the capital outlay, we have 113,304 for the fire truck. The grant match funds, that's for the fire truck that we're gonna get one of these days. We just don't know when.
It's supposed to, from what somebody told me, it's supposed to be at the Deep South facility sometime this month.
Mississippi?
yeah, it was supposed to left the factory, I think, today, matter of fact, is what they're talking about. Last time I heard, it was supposed to be leaving from where it got built at Spartan and headed to Deep South.
It'll be hopefully fairly quick process, so they already have everything pretty much.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get the,
Fingers crossed.
well, we put it in the budget for next year,
Yeah.
just in case. Because all the supply and demand stuff going.
so the second grant match funds line, which has the same line number as the other one, but, so that's just for additional matching funds
Yes.
for other
Yes,
grants.
in case another grant comes up, that we can apply for, and it requires matching funds.
That first one's gonna be a transfer out of capital.
Yes.
And that 25,000 every year. We just keep going every year, right? Chief?
Is that non-discretionary, or do we still have to vote on that, how it's used? Do they still have to get permission to use the 25,000? Or they can use it however they,
You get permission to apply for the
Grant,
grants
right.
awarded. Then
Yeah.
that money is used as a, limit.
so it's not, so I just want to make sure the money's not tied up.
It's not encumbered in terms.
All right, anything else for the fire department? All right, we're in sanitation. Of course, you got salaries, supplies, repairs, contracts, and services. Anything, any questions on anything?
Designate,
What you say, Maria?
wait till you get to supplies and
Just a
repairs.
clarification on what sanitation is, because we use Planning Woods for haul the trash, so what covers sanitation? What does that mean for the city?
John can answer that.
What was the question?
What does sanitation, what is the sanitation budget here cover? Who's in it?
Mostly the grapple truck. Cheryl's not in this one, she's in general, she is split
Her wages are in
on
sanitation.
salary. So it's all of the grapple truck is in this. So picks up green waste, pays for that service, plus it also pays for landfill when we go to the landfill with CMD, which is another service that we don't charge enough to cover those fees, so we did look at that too. We didn't move away.
Thank you. My mind, when I think sanitation, I just think of Piney Woods coming, so what do we have? I didn't think about the truck, the gravel truck picking up and all that. That definitely is sanitation.
Covers the printing of the garbage bills, the postage of the garbage bills, clerk.
Yes.
And that contract services that's toward the bottom, that 320,000, that is Piney Woods, that's what we pay them. That's what's included in here as well.
Any other questions?
Are we on supplies and repairs?
Yeah, well, I just gotta lump it all in there for any questions
Oh, okay.
they ask.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna ask about designated cleanups. Is that,
What line we on now?
136128. Supplies and repairs, very last one.
Just trying to keep things down.
okay,
We can add it back in.
but last year we had 3,000 for, I mean, what did we use it for, designated cleanups? Is that like including like the Adopt a Street program where you're having to go extra and pick up trash?
No.
Or is it?
So the designated cleanup last year was for the event that we held in, what month was it, Teresa? October?
Fall,
Yeah,
okay, fall and spring, basically.
right.
So we're still gonna have those, correct?
I assume we will.
It's in the Piney Woods contract to provide.
The dumpsters, okay.
So,
Anything else on that? Contractual services?
Let me ask you a question. You know, years past, we made the landlords pay for the garbage can. Is that helping on our delinquent money? Because there would be so many $1,000s in arrears because renters didn't pay. We made the landlords pay, so we good there?
It's made a big
A lot
difference.
better, okay. That's good.
I don't think you're ever gonna get rid of the delinquency, but
Right.
some people
No,
just pay.
I mean, we still have it, but it's not anywhere near what it used to be.
We'll move on to humane. Same thing, just look through there and if you have any questions.
I was wondering if we were gonna give a 3% increase for humane as well on wages.
Well, we've actually increased humane salary.
So we basically made a market adjustment for him
Okay,
to bring him up to where he would be comparable to that same position across the state.
Which is more than the 3%.
It's 21%.
But we won't apply the 3% in October.
okay.
Sure, it's a raise now, not October.
Well, no, it has to wait until October, but it's not gonna be an additional 3%.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're in the police department budget. Any questions on personnel services?
Chief, it looks like our guys, I can say guys, there's no limit. The certificate thing, it looks like they're advancing their knowledge.
We're adding $150 for the SR, people that are on the SRT team,
Good.
so that'll be your
How many employees do you have now in the
total 10 of them.
10, including?
Well, that'd be cool.
Well, it's
Including
those.
Civilian, correct.
Any questions?
On the whole thing or just on?
Yes.
Wherever, just whatever you
How
want.
many for the new vehicles, how many, vehicles are you trying to get this year?
3.
3, okay.
We get 3 every year, Chief?
No, we get 2, but we've only got 1 this year because of the backlog.
Okay, and then when we decided we didn't need one, Bobby got that one?
Well, what happened is we absorbed 1 because when I got the code enforcement spot, I didn't get a vehicle with it. So I absorbed it. So this is actually kind of supplementing that between the vehicle that we may or may not get this year. And I don't know how many we'll get next year, but you know, it's.
So we ordered 2 last year, only got 1.
You're not getting Fords, are you?
No,
Okay, good, because they canceled one for 2,000 for, just check.
So that's the issue, is that they're just not able to buy the cars. They're ordering them with,
yeah, we've still got 1 on order for this year, so
from back
whether
in
or not we
October.
get it this year,
And you ordered back in October?
October.
So we could possibly get 3. Well, that's what this is. You said there's 3 in the budget
For next year.
for next year. Yeah, correct. We get, pursuit type vehicles, you know,
They're special service vehicles.
special, they're good and heavy duty and good enough for, I don't care. Wish that thing didn't work. Because we don't go many pursuits, I wouldn't think, you know, like the highway patrol does.
It doesn't matter, all it takes is 1 and we do 1 pursuit, but they're special service.
So they're good to go.
All right,
Thanks, Chief.
anything else? Okay.
The certificate pay, does that include those going out and training?
Yes, they get a stipend every month of $150.
Okay. But like, I know there may be, sometimes they go out and train and do exercises they don't get paid for.
That's correct.
Where is that included? I mean, did you ask, is that fall under that category? To where they would get some
They get
kind
a
of
stipend.
compensation for that?
They get a stipend.
Okay.
Any other questions? Supplies and repairs? Contractual services? Emergency management? Capital outlay, we talked about that some. You can see another grant support in there.
with buying new vehicles, will we have to get more radar and one another radio, or they use the same ones?
We use the same one. We transfer the equipment over. Sometimes, if the model style changes, we do have to get some equipment, like some of the cages wouldn't fit when we went from the 16s to the 21s. So we had to get new cages. Just, if it fits, we'll transfer it over.
Yeah.
We don't get new equipment every time we get new vehicles.
Any more questions? All right, municipal court. Personnel service. Any questions?
This alternate magistrate fee, is that based on an allowance period, or is it based on when? Say Jay, for instance, come in as a magistrate, okay, because the judge is not, okay, does he get paid per the time he comes in, or is it just a base salary? Or allowance? Is that what that number is?
That's a line item that we put in case the council approves a stipend pay for the alternate magistrate. And so, the council will still have to approve that. It'll have to be brought up in one of the council meetings. It'll have to be approved, so. That's what that's in the budget for. Next year. Okay? Did that answer your question?
Yes.
All right, so, is there anything else? All right, we'll move on to street. Street department. Any questions?
How many employees does this cover? This salary range?
Like 2.7. Teresa can tell you, there's,
2 full-time, 50% of an open position for supervisor, 20% of yours, and 20% of emergency management.
Yeah,
I was just wondering, how many people can you get for, this amount of money? And, I'm glad to see that they're getting a 3% wage increase. They need it.
all right. Any other questions?
Is this a new vehicle on the capital outlay
yes,
Yes.
for 35?
yes.
Kind of big, is that?
Hmm?
Kind of, is that just pick up a regular old truck like you got now?
Yeah, pickup truck. We've got
Same contract.
the current pickup truck that we've got, it's got over 100,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
Our maintenance is going up on it. We haven't purchased a new vehicle, in 10 years.
but, since y'all having problems getting forwards, what are y'all looking at? Getting?
Honestly, we're just gonna look for the cheapest.
What have you?
The what's available and what the cheapest is.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about the police department, if y'all having problems with them, I'm sure it's gonna.
You know, as they get older, depending on mileage, that's how we determine what's replaced.
Yeah.
Just when we start spending money on it.
All right, any other questions? On the street? All right, moving on, parks and facilities.
Playground equipment, we're basically waiting on the monies, the grant for that, okay. Christmas decorations,
It put anything.
okay.
We have,
Banners, the little banners that we,
I
that's not.
didn't put anything.
we have playground equipment coming, is that what I heard?
No, sir.
We are expecting to get a grant. And hopefully that will take care of both playgrounds being removed.
Is that no, there's no grant match on that one?
Was there a grant?
So. Yes, there will be,
Okay.
yes, but we have not applied for it yet.
Oh, okay.
So it would be 23, 24.
Any other questions? All right, we're gonna move on to last but not the least, maintenance shop. Any questions on maintenance shop?
The only one I had is that there's no fuel fees. Do they just, they don't have, they
So-
you about somewhere else or?
So that one is shared with the street department.
Okay.
And you picked up on the fuel increase. We went up 1.5%, or 50% of last year's budget we increased.
I noticed that on.
Yeah.
There were no-
We really didn't know what to aim for. I mean, you really don't.
Right.
But right now, I think the way things are going, the trajectory, we did pretty good on that estimate. So I think we're gonna be okay, but yeah, it's shared, so is the parks, it's shared with the street.
Any other questions? Oh. Yeah, this is the last one. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Whoever worked on this budget, I appreciate all the hard work that went on it, from every department, whomever. Can't name names that I missed some. It helps. Thank you all.
All your department heads have done a good job.
Absolutely.
Coming up with a good budget. It's an expensive budget. It's grown from last year somewhat. So, you can see on that front sheet that you have, the budget summary. The capital outlay is up this year. All things we think we need, and we didn't have any questions on some of the stuff that's on there, so I'm assuming that everybody's gonna be okay with it, and we'll have an opportunity to vote on it, vote for it September the 12th.
Capital outlay this year is a lot higher than it's ever been, as I remember, but it's gonna be a lot lower next year.
Should be.
We getting stuff now that we won't need to replace for a while.
Should be. That's our hope, for sure.
Yes, sir.
One thing I don't see on here, and I don't know which department it would come out of. But whenever Mike and I were over at the fire department, there's no security over there at all. And there's no cameras, there's, anything. And we have spent a lot of money and we're gonna be spending a lot more money on them. And it seems like there ought to be some kind of security system. From what I can tell, anybody could just walk in. There's a gate, but everybody knows you can go through here at the back door. So I'm not to get in. So,
We had it in there, but it got taken out.
Did you have a
It was
bid
under our
for
station maintenance, underneath our station improvements, and then y'all removed it.
yeah,
Now,
the remodeling? Yeah, we did take the
remodeling,
remodeling,
figured
yeah.
out that's where we had the security system in there. Y'all removed it.
Y'all being me.
How much we talking about, dude?
I don't remember, I don't have the other part of the budget. with
It
me.
was 30,000 to begin with.
That's what I thought we talked about.
But that
I
one
think
for the
that's-
security
That's
system.
not just the
Yeah, that was
security.
for some other things.
So that was station remodel to do other things.
Yeah, right.
Station remodel,
Yeah.
including some other stuff.
So, but it just, from my knowledge, so would that typically come out of the fire department budget, or would that be like a building maintenance type thing, or general, where would that fall?
How we call it.
Benefit for the fire department.
Yeah, the fire department.
Part of their budget, chief.
Do we have any cameras that actually point towards the doors, the entry points into the firehouse?
So do you want to talk about that in a public meeting?
I guess not.
I didn't think about that.
A good question for you to come back to me with, okay?
Yes.
I shouldn't have brought that up.
I was just thinking, that may not fit.
We do have security over there.
Yes.
It's just not up to what we would like to have.
So the question I was gonna ask,
That's why we don't need it.
So we got a
Um,
random truck rolling.
and I don't know how much, and I don't know if it's okay to ask this on here, but I was gonna ask how much. So like each year we're allotted so much to go to the TML in San Antonio. And I don't go to them, so I was gonna see where I could if I could reallocate that towards something in another department. You get what I'm saying?
That'd mess everything up. We got a certain amount of money budgeted for us to do that. If we don't use it, it stays in.
It's covered for you to go, but that's what we're here for. If any department has needs, then they.
Is there, well, I was gonna see if I could transfer that to somebody, that's what I'm saying, instead of me going to San Antonio. Where could I put that to help another department out?
There's a blanket amount budgeted for officials' travel. It's not so much per person.
Okay,
And we usually don't spend all of that.
right, okay, see, I'll just reallocate that somewhere.
And it actually got cut from this year too.
Kind of like the money that's left over. That's where you'll see the estimated beginning fund balance.
Okay.
That'll just roll over into next year.
Okay.
Don't lose it, you just keep it going. I mean, if you don't.
As
spend it-
a bulk, we use it towards the next year.
Yes, sir.
Any unexpended funds.
Dave, did you get any kind of bids?
I got some, and they came out and looked at them, I do not have them with me right now, but I can, go back and pull it up and find out what the cost was. See if there's been any price increases since I got it last time. On the price, on the security stuff, so I'll try to get that this week, and see if I can get you a quote.
Would you work, Mike, would you and Dave get your heads together and work on what is actually needed there in that type of system so that, we can get we want something that integrates well with our systems we have now, I would think. So, y'all work together on that. Any other questions on the budget? Any questions on money we spend each year on anything? Open it up now. All right. Well, we have some upcoming meetings, announcements. August the 8th, we'll have our next council meeting. Thursday, September the 8th, will be a public hearing on our proposed budget. Thursday, September the 8th, will also be a public hearing on our proposed tax rate, excuse me. And Monday, September the 12th, will be September council meeting at 5. Saturday, November the 5th, 2022 will be holiday in the park. Any questions on any of those dates? Adjourned.